Hi, I'm Kelly. Today we are going to be working on how to fix a leaky toilet. Have you ever had one of those toilets that just runs and runs and runs and you can't get it to stop? I'm going to show you today how to fix that. You'll need a fill valve and flapper kit, plumber's tape, and a bucket. This is the toilet that's leaking. We're not sure if it is the flapper or the fill valve that's causing the problem. We'll start with replacing the flapper. This is the interior water shutoff valve that you'll want to shut off before you start your project. And this is the outside water shutoff valve. And we will shut off the water outside as a precaution in case if the interior shutoff valve fails. When the shutoff valve is positioned in the same direction as the water pipe, water is flowing. To shut off the flow, you need to move the valve to set perpendicular to the pipe. Now there are two valves. And if you don't know which valve you need, it's best to turn them both off. After the water has been shut off, flush the toilet to remove as much water as possible before beginning. The rest of the water will empty into a bucket in a later step. This toilet has a rubber flapper, and I like to use the rubber flappers because they have a little bit of give and can be stretched and twisted as needed. Now in this case, I needed to buy a separate flapper because the one that came with the kit was plastic and I couldn't manipulate it to fit the toilet's interior parts. To remove the flapper, you'll need to rotate the underneath edge of the attachment to release each side of the flapper. And if you look closely, you'll see that the white bar it is attached to is a different size on the right versus the left. So another reason to support a rubber flapper. Once you have released the rubber flapper from the bottom of the tank, you need to remove the fish hook-like chain connector from the flush lever. We're now ready to install the new flapper. Start by attaching the flapper to the bottom of the tank. Roll the end over the attachment bar on both sides. Now you can attach the fish hook-like chain to the flush lever. The new flapper is now installed. If that solves the leak, you're done, but most likely the fill valve is broken and you will need to continue to the next step. The next step is to remove the white or black tubing that runs from the fill valve into the white cylinder. The fill valve is what shuts the water off when the tank is full. Now is when the bucket comes into play. Place the bucket directly beneath the fill valve on the floor. The fill valve has two nuts underneath the toilet tank that need to be removed. Hold the fill valve while you unscrew the nut below. The first nut is holding the water line to the tank. You will see some water flow from the valve when you loosen the nut. There shouldn't be much, but just whatever's left in the line following the shutoff of the valve and the toilet flush. The second nut needs to be unscrewed as well. It's holding the flush valve in the tank. More water will flow out as a result of the remaining water in the tank. Once the fill valve is free of the nut, you just lift it out. Let's install the new valve. The red portion on the new valve is a rubber washer to help with the seal. But before we go any further, I want to demonstrate how you can adjust the height of the fill valve. Just hold on the bottom and middle and twist and adjust and then tighten. Okay, this next step is just a preference, but I like to put plumber's tape around the threads to help protect against water leaks. Just wrap it around and press it down. Insert your fill valve into the hole through the tank and use your nut to tighten it down. Now keep in mind, if it's plastic, you want to tighten it, but make sure that you don't tighten it so tight that you crack the nut. It's time to install the black piping that goes from the fill valve into the white cylinder. Just push it on so that it's snug. Make sure there's no kinks in the line. It's now time to attach the water line to the tank. Use the nut that's provided and tighten it down with your hand strength. Don't over tighten or you could crack the nut. In this particular water line, if you crack the nut, you have to take the water line out and reinstall a new one. Now you're done. You need to turn the water back on slowly to make sure that there are no leaks.